everybody, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be answering some of your questions about my recent through hike of the Pacific Crest Trail. Thank you so much to everyone who sent in questions. I hope you enjoy this video. But before we do that, please be sure to subscribe to this channel. I will be continuing to put up more videos on hiking and travel and things happening in my life. So the first question was, how was coming off the trail and how long did it take for your body to recover? So I actually think I had a relatively easy time. I got warned by so many people who had done through hikes before that, like, you know, your body is just in shambles after it's over and blah, 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 blah. I didn't really have any issues. I was actually really lucky the entire trail. I never really had any bad injuries. The only thing that really bothered me right after getting off trail was in the morning when I would get up, my feet would just be really sore and I'd have to kind of like do the hiker shuffle around my house. And so I just basically felt like an old person. But that would go away pretty rapidly. And otherwise, I do have, I have a toenail that's about to fall off from, you know, stressing my toes so much. So that is very traumatic for me. But in general, it hasn't been too bad. The whole trail, I basically just took it slow and steady. I never pushed myself too hard except for that 60-mile day. And, you know, I really was blessed because of that. And I didn't have a huge physical issue. Next question is about stream crossings, whether or not to take your shoes off. I never took my shoes off because for one, I didn't have like camp shoes to change into. Two, I was just kind of lazy about that. I didn't want to have to take my shoes off and take my socks off and go across the stream. Also, it just seemed like I wouldn't have as steady of footing going across streams if I took my shoes off. And stream crossings or river crossings were one of my scariest things on trail. I just really did not enjoy those. And finally, especially in the Sierras, your feet are constantly wet because of the snow and the sheer number of stream crossings that you have to do. So you would just kill so much time having to always take your shoes on and off. A lot of people did, and that's cool for them, and if that's the way you want to do it, that's awesome. Especially if you have like camp shoes that you can wear across the stream. But I basically just always had wet feet in the Sierras, and it really didn't bother me that much. The only time it bothered me was once I got up into northern Washington and it was really cold, and there was a number of stream crossings there too. It was just more annoying to have wet feet, but in the High Sierra, your feet are just gonna be cold all the time and wet all the time because of the snow and the huge number of stream crossings. So I kept my shoes and socks on and I never really had a problem. Next question is about food on trail. What kinds of things did I eat? And question about the resupply strategy. So I'm gonna do an entire video on my resupply strategy, so I'm not really gonna talk too much about that in this video. But the kind of foods that I ate, I was stoveless and I'm vegetarian, so, and I don't like peanuts. So that limited a lot of things that I could eat. My favorite thing by far, and this wouldn't be for everyone, but oh my gosh, I loved it so much. They're these instant meals, they're called Tasty Bites, and they make a lot of like Indian cuisine and Thai cuisine. And of course, they're meant to be heated up, but since I was stoveless, I could literally just open it up and eat it. And it was really flavorful and spicy and delicious. The downside is they are on the heavier side, but for me, I would just look forward to eating that for dinner every single day. So I didn't mind carrying a little bit extra weight since I love to eat it so much. So that was a big thing. I did eat tons and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of protein bars. I didn't really get sick of them. The only ones that I'm not super keen to eat immediately would be Clif Bars, but I was never a huge Clif Bar fan to begin with. But yeah, I really liked a lot of the Clif Bars, or not the Clif Bars, the protein bars that I ate. If you guys would be interested in me making a dedicated video just to my favorite kinds of foods that I had on trail, I will do that. So the next question I got was asked by a whole bunch of people asking me to review both my tent and my backpack, so I'm happy to do that for you right now. So starting with my tent, I had the Big Agnes Fly Creek HVUL1. Super, super popular tent on trail. It was actually borderline funny being in places like Hiker Heaven when everyone would set up their tents and there were just so many fly creeks and you had to kind of like figure out which one was yours. I loved that tent. I was very, very satisfied with it. It lasted me the whole trail. It's still in pretty good condition. I didn't really have any issues. A lot of people didn't like it because they thought it was too small, so they traded it out for the UL2. I didn't have an issue. I always slept with my backpack at the bottom of the tent. A lot of times I had my food in there with me, and I've had plenty of space. I also didn't mind the front door. Some people want it on the side. That didn't bother me at all. I know Mother Hen felt the exact same way, and she's even taller than me. She had enough space. The only little issues that I had with the tent were by the end of the hike, one of the zippers was giving me trouble, but there were double zippers on everything, so I just used the other zipper and that was fine. And also the waterproofness of the rainfly definitely diminished by the end, and that's when it really hit the rain, so that kind of sucked. I think because I used the rainfly so much because it helped keep me warm, I think like the sand and just the elements earlier on in the hike kind of wore on the waterproofness. So that was kind of the only issue, but I really, really loved the tent. Totally recommend it. And as for my backpack, so I originally started out with the Osprey Kite. It was a 46-liter bag. I just started with it because I already owned it. I had bought it when I lived in Hong Kong, but I did not know too much about sizing and I didn't realize that the bag was just way too big for me. This turned into a common theme, unfortunately. So I suffered through it for the first 400, 500 miles on trail. It was just so heavy because the waistband was too big, so all of the weight was going on my shoulders, and back in the desert, of course, you're carrying a lot more water, so it was just miserable. So once I got to Hiker Heaven, I went to the REI. Hen was also having issues with her bag, so we both decided we wanted new backpacks. We actually ended up getting the exact same bag. She and I both ended up with the Gregory Maven. But the problem was, I went into REI and tried on bags, and even the guy in REI who was helping was like, I'm sorry, we don't have a bag that is small enough for you. Now, I'm not a super small human being. I'm sort of small, but like, there are people way smaller than me. And they didn't have, I tried on the extra smalls, I tried on children's bags, nothing fit my waist properly. They were all too big. The Gregory Maven was the closest, so I went ahead and got it. And it was fine-ish until the end. Like Oregon and Washington, it started to really hurt again because it just had it as tight as possible and it still wasn't tight enough. So if you are a very, very petite human being, good luck. I feel for you. The struggle is real. But in general, the bag itself was fine. It was pretty durable. I did have a couple little holes that started forming when I had my bear can, because the bear can was quite tight in the bag, so I think it just strained the fabric. So I got a couple holes, but I just put on tenacious tape on both sides and it was fine for the rest of the hike, no issues. Yeah, I really, really like the bag. A lot of people would make fun of Gregory, and I don't know why. Because it seemed like everyone who had a Gregory bag was very content with it. So, definitely look into Gregory. The next question was, what did I like to listen to on trail? I love to listen to things on trail. I was not one of those people that kind of walked in silence. I did it occasionally, but I just love to listen to things. So my main thing that I listened to were audiobooks. I listened to 50 books in 5.5 months on trail. I'm gonna do a whole blog post reviewing all the different books, so You can look for that in the next couple of weeks. But I listen to a lot of audiobooks. I listen to a lot of podcasts. Up and Vanished is my favorite. And I also listen to a bunch of music. But for me, being on trail was just such a cool way to kind of introduce myself to new material to listen to. So I branched off into a whole bunch of like book categories that I had never really listened to or read before, and it was super fascinating. I listened to a bunch of music that I had never really listened to, and podcasts as well. So if you have a through hike coming up, you can, you know, try to broaden your horizons a little bit. Definitely get Overdrive. That is a audiobook app that links to your library so that you can get free audiobooks from your library. That is how I listen to 95% of the books that I listen to on trail, and it's awesome. And the final question is, how is life post-hike? Do I miss it? And do I have any plans for a future through hike? So post-hike has been pretty good. I think I didn't have a huge issue transferring back to regular life because, to be completely honest, the last couple weeks on trail for me were kind of a little bit miserable. I know you might not have been able to tell that on the vlogs, but I was just so cold and so everything was wet and I was tired. My body was really like, as I said before, like I didn't have many injuries on trail, but by the end my body was like, what are you doing to me? Like, gah! So I was kind of ready for it to be over, which I'm okay with that. A lot of people were in the depths of despair thinking that their trail was going to be over, but I was pretty much ready for it to be over, to be honest. So transferring back hasn't been that bad. Another through hike planned, not at this time. It's something I would be open to. I need to recover physically and financially, obviously, before I would jump into another through hike. But it's definitely something that I would be interested in doing, especially as time goes by and I romanticize all those miserable moments. But I do have other plans for other things that I will be announcing when it's time to announce them. Sorry, that's really vague. Yeah. But right now, I'm enjoying sleeping in a bed and taking showers when I want to. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this. Let me know if you have any other questions, and I will do another Q&A video if that's something that you guys are interested in. And I have more hiking videos coming down the pipeline, so stay tuned, subscribe, hit that bell, like this, all that kind of thing, all that kind of stuff. And I will see you guys in the next video.